Hello and welcome to another episode of Prep for Retirement Television. I'm 𝗂𝘅𝗲𝗀, your host, and joining me is local financial advisor Patrick Moriarty to discuss three more yet very important aspects of retirement planning. With more than 30 years working for some of the largest financial firms in the industry, Patrick started his own financial firm that has a focus on helping viewers, just like you, prep for retirement. He is here today to share his ideas and strategies to help you live a long and happy retirement. Great to see you again, Patrick.
Good to see you, Cheryl.
So we've talked before that retirement planning is more than just luck. Each week we're going to be focusing on three financial topics, or leaves, like the shamrocks in your company's logo. And today we wanted to talk about taxes in retirement. And so it's so important to talk about this topic, especially when it comes to retirement. Can you share with our viewers what that discussion looks like when you meet with your clients?
Sure. When I first talk about taxes in retirement with my clients, I ask them a lot of questions and what they think taxes are going to be. When we retire, the paychecks go away, but taxes don't go away. So we're still responsible for paying our taxes and paying them on time. And I talk a lot about where are tax rates today. Tax rates today, believe it or not, a lot of people don't realize this, but they are at the lowest rates ever, the lowest tax rates ever in the history of this country. And so we have that. We know they're at the lowest point in the history, while we have record debt. We have almost $31 trillion in debt. Each year we have deficit spending. We don't have a balanced budget. We had record tax revenue yet last year, and we still ran a deficit. If viewers want to learn more about where we are financially as a company, there's a great website. It's usdebtclock.org, and it shows you all this data and all this information. The question I always ask right up front with clients and viewers, where do you think taxes will be in the future? I try to get them to commit. Do you think they'll be higher? Do you think they'll be lower? 99% of everyone I talk to, they all say they'll be higher, not lower. So that's our foundation for the discussion. Okay, if you truly believe that, what do we do? And not where are taxes going to be next year or 5 years, but where will they be in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years? We live in retirement 30 years. And I also tell the viewers and I tell clients, I can guarantee you if Congress does nothing, tax rates will be higher in 2026 because that's our current tax law. They were lowered a few years ago, and the tax law was written that if nothing happens, if Congress does nothing, they revert back to the old rates, which are higher. That's 2026. So we have 3 years to do some things, to do some planning to reduce taxes in the future. And that's what I try to get my clients to understand.
Planning is so important. And as we've talked about in a past show, yes. People they're not into planning. Right. They're just not into planning. So what can our viewers do today to prepare for these taxes?
Well, they can do a couple of things. And the first thing I want the viewers to know is that I'm not a CPA. I am not an accountant, right? I like to give broad brush ideas about taxes so that my client can think about them, maybe run them by their accountant, get a second opinion. But I have ideas, I have strategies. It doesn't cost them anything to meet with me and talk about these ideas. Sometimes they're afraid to meet with their accountant because it could cost them money. But so I kind of give them, kind of like the cliff notes, the cheat sheets on what they can do tax-wise, and then have the accountant to confirm these ideas. So that's, I want them to know that. I'm not an accountant, I'm not a CPA. But what can they do? They can do two things. One, they have to be proactive, right? If tax rates go higher and you do nothing, well, there's nothing you can do about it. You have to anticipate that taxes will be higher. And again, we know they're going to be higher in 2026 if Congress does nothing. And as you know, in some of our prior shows, I like to use analogies. I love to use sports analogies. So I'm going to use one here. And this one is with hockey. And the greatest hockey player of all times was and still is Wayne Gretzky. And after he retired, a reporter sat down with him and they interviewed him and they asked him one real simple question, and that was, why were you so good? And his answer was really simple. And his answer was, because I skated to where the puck was going not to where it is. And so that's what we have to do when we are planning for our retirement. We have to anticipate where the future tax rates will be. And again, if everyone I sit down with says they're going to be higher, let's do something about it. So that's what we have to do. We have to be proactive. That's the first thing. And the second thing is we have to have conviction about this. We have to stay true to these ideas, true to these thoughts, because if we don't have conviction, we won't implement it. I don't want viewers to look back 5 years from now and think, hey, I saw Patrick Moriarty on television, and he was talking about higher taxes, and I didn't do anything about it. Mm-hmm. So be proactive, have conviction, have it, down into your soul that taxes are going to go higher. We need to do something today. I've got some ideas and strategies that people can use to lower their tax bills.
Yeah, the key is taking action. So listening to Patrick, listening to you today, right, and then taking some of the things you say and implementing them. So you talked about specifics. What specific strategies, tax planning strategies, can you help us think about to potentially pay less in taxes in the future? Right.
So, there's definitely several different strategies we can implement. And again, I'm not an accountant, so I always like my clients to run these ideas by their accountant first. And I think that, what I'd like to do is save these ideas and save these secrets and these strategies for our next segment, because I have some really powerful things we can talk about.
Sounds good. That's a reason for people to stick around after the break.